Welcome to Classroom Chronicles with me, Eunice Letsobe, the podcast that explores the challenges and triumphs of educators across the nation. In today's episode, we have the honor of speaking with Gugu Qwabe, the recently crowned 2023 National Best Teacher from KZN. Join me as we delve into Gugu's inspiring journey and gain valuable insights into her experiences. Gugu Qwabe, welcome to Classroom Chronicles. How are you feeling today?
I am well, Eunice. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Can you please just tell us a bit about yourself before we dive into our interview?
Okay, so I am Gugu Qwabe, born and bred in Jozini, which is on the side of KZN near the Swaziland and Mozambique border. And that is where my school is also located, just on the Mozambique and Swaziland border on the coast of KwaZulu-Natal. So I'm just trying to be exact. I went to primary schools around the area. Mkuze Primary School, a former Malta Sea primary school, then went on to Empang in high school. So my parents had to travel for me to get a good education. And then after the passing of my father, my mom took us to the normal government schools in grade 11, which was the first time I did isiZulu in home language and isiZulu, and I stopped Afrikaans in grade 10. So for the whole of my schooling years, I was doing English and Afrikaans, and then in grade 11 did isiZulu for the first time, and then pursued a psychology degree in UKZN, then eventually came back to teaching through my postgraduate certificates. And I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a pastor, and that is the essence, in essence, who I am.
Well, welcome to Classroom Chronicles, Pastor. I can actually tell from the voice that I can hear a religious person speaking here. First and foremost, congratulations on winning the 2023 National Best Teacher Award.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm still shocked.
Is it winning the
Yeah.
title of best teacher obviously is a remarkable achievement. What do you believe sets you apart from other educators and has contributed to your success?
Well, what actually sets me apart is the fact that I do unique things in my school and for the children. One of which is training them holistically, or should I say, developing them holistically, because I am an author of a HUD textbook, H standing for Holistic Youth Ubuntu D Development. So it's a learner textbook on values, and it's a teacher guide. So for me, when I teach, it's beyond the classroom. It's for creating better citizens and just for helping learners be well balanced for what the real world requires. So also I pursued my master's in business administration, well known as MBA, last year, and I'm completing it this year. So I've already obtained 145 credits and finishing it now. Again, what sets me apart is that I have very strong networks with our former leaders of the country through some of the things that I'll explain later. And I love developing my colleagues because I believe that a well developed teacher in terms of content will do well in terms of what they do in class, how they interact with learners, and they would love their job. So I think that's what sets me apart. Plus that I am quite spiritual, and therefore I have a well-balanced, should I say, mental state.
Wow. I think today we are speaking to a jack of all trades and a master of all. I'm quite impressed. Well, you're speaking about having a background in business and acquiring this and that. Can you maybe share with us the story behind your passion for teaching and what led you to pursue a career in this field?
Well, my mom was a teacher and she had struggled so much because she's quite energetic. I take after her, and she loved studying. She stopped at her honors because at that time she was quite old, and she was widowed at 37, so she had to fend for us, and she struggled a lot with the little income at that time, and with the education system itself, because when you are innovative, when you are different, it's hard to fit in, because people and will want you to conform to what is there, because otherwise you're creating more work or you're just being too much to say. So she struggled a lot in the field, and she didn't want a teacher. But when I was growing up, around 10 years, I used to hit trees, I used to teach trees, I love teaching. And when I finally came to the field, when I agreed with her, I wanted to do or expose learners to resources that I was not exposed to, not just for learning, but emotional resources, mental resources. Because as I was in Model C schools at the time, I had so many struggles. There were so many things that I couldn't gain access to because I didn't know a path leading to that. I wanted to be in the live band, but I couldn't. I didn't know how it's done. I wanted so many things for myself. So when I got into the field, I really wanted to make sure that learners have enough and they can just freely choose to be themselves.
Hmm. Speaking about your mom coming across challenges and, going through a lot in her time, in your opinion, what are the most pressing challenges that teachers face in today's educational landscape, and how do you think we can address them effectively?
In the past, well, also in the most parts of the area that I'm in, it's lack of resources. Even though I must add that a lot has been done, we see a lot of schools having laptops now and having so many things. But still, with the fourth industrial revolution at hand, that is too basic. So one is to have enough resources to make sure that our learners are globally competitive or are empowered to compete with those learners who are living in town. So equality is also an issue. But again, the issue is dealing with learners themselves, learners who lack motivation, learners who have no direction, and therefore creating unsafe schools in some instances. And therefore, I believe that teachers should expose themselves to more information. I find that, for example, I'm just a language teacher, but when I hear that there are robotics workshops, I like exposing myself to that, even though I'm a language teacher. So you'll find that even in my language lessons, I introduce a lot of technology. I also empower other teachers to do the same. So for me, I'll say it's the solutions are all within a teacher. So if the government can just empower the mental, or should I say, the insights of teachers on resources that are there to make sure that they understand or they are in line with the current trends, current economic trends, current trends in terms of business, in terms of the global spectrum or global economy. And how they can do that is to expose, YouTube, I'll make an example, has so many lessons on how to use a 3D printer. A 3D printer is something which is used even now to build some houses in some other countries. So if you are a teacher, you have to just expose yourself to resources. You cannot say that you are waiting for the government, because you're the solution for everything. And what I always say to teachers is, what would you want your teachers to have done to ensure that you reach your goals? Because we don't want to say these learners are in rural areas, therefore they cannot be the future Elon Musks. For example, even in my school, we have a learner who won the ESCOM Expo this year as a number one for building an electric car, which is sensitive. It has sensors, so it doesn't hit anything. So for me, I'll just say teachers need to expose themselves using the internet. They must make it a lifestyle. They must use the social media to grow wiser and to understand their job more, because a lot is happening. And if you are not in line with the current trends, you will really suffer and maybe have some resentments.
Dude, you know what? Listening to you, I totally understand why you won the Best Teacher Award. I feel so motivated just by listening to you, and I can feel your passion. I can hear that you're an advocate for innovation in the classroom, and you're all about a healthy mental space and also self-development and seeing change in the classrooms. I just want, in closing, I just want to hear, looking ahead, what are your aspirations and goals for the future of education? And how do you plan to contribute to its continued improvement? Just in short.
For me, I would love for the Department of Education to adopt an Ubuntu curriculum, whether it be in line, or should I say, in conjunction with life orientation, under the banner, or should I say, under the principle Ubuntu. There are so many native values that are there from our previous leaders that we can pass on to our learners so that our learners are transformed within. I'll talk about issues of punctuality. I'll talk about issues of discipline, issues of surviving within your means and making sure that you bring the best out of whatever you have. So I would love for us to adopt our own curriculum and to look into that principle alone, because my book is based on that. It tells the stories of Mr. Arnold Zulman, the founder of Beacon Suites, who was friends with Dr. Nelson Mandela and Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. And I sit with Mr. Arnold Zulman, even though he's in America. When he comes to South Africa, I have meetings with him. He will tell me about the values Dr. Nelson Mandela had, even when he had, because he used to ask for Dr. Nelson Mandela and Prince Mangosuthu to sit down on the 1994 election before it happened, so that they could agree for a peaceful election. And he told me stories of how these leaders had so much values, even though they were in opposite teams. So for me, and that was under the fact that they were Ubuntu leaders. And there is so much that we can teach learners from that. We can teach them how to have humility, how to have discipline, no matter how you are feeling, and how to deal with traumas and how to deal with so many things, which is under this principle. But if you have never studied it, you'll never understand it completely, and will always adopt Western curriculums and will look abroad for solutions that we actually have. So for me, it's to make sure that we hone into values education, we hone into holistic education, not just for the learners, for the teachers also. Like you said, you talk of mental health, we talk of different things. So that is what I would say. Unfortunately, we are short of time and I had a lot. I would explain.
No, thank you very much. I totally agree with you. Bring back Ubuntu, bring back the value system, get discipline into the schools, humility, respect for our learners, and obviously that would holistically contribute to the future of South Africa, not only in our schools, but as a country at its whole. But from us here at Classroom Chronicles, congratulations. You honestly deserve the award, and we can feel your passion. Continue doing what you're doing, and we are really, really proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
As we conclude this episode of Classroom Chronicles, we hope that Gugu's journey and insights have inspired you as much as they have inspired us. Stay tuned for more engaging conversations with teachers who are making a difference in the lives of their students.